Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Mean Streets, powered by FTN, right here on Game Plus Network. Chris Meaney hanging out with you. Hopefully, everybody's having a fantastic Tuesday, and that Monday Night Football game didn't hurt you as much as it hurt me. Not just to watch it, but my bank account took a little bit of a hit last night. My apologies. I don't think I gave one right pick. I think I left the show with Rams cover and a big day from Cam Akers, which did not happen. It wasn't even close. We will talk about that game a little bit later on. We'll also take a look at some air yard leaders for week 4 as we officially turn the page to week 5 here in a few minutes. This will be a heavy NHL show. So my apologies for those that are coming in looking for some NFL stuff. I've readjusted my waiver wire rankings at the running back position after the show finished yesterday. A couple news items broke. Cordell Patterson was placed on IR, so of course we have to move Tyler Algier up the ranking board. And then also the Broncos signed Latavius Murray. So people are getting a little bit too excited, I think, about Mike Boone. Even if they didn't sign Latavius Murray, Melvin Gordon was going to be the lead there. I think so anyways, still going to be the lead. If he continues to fumble the ball, maybe we'll see a little bit more Latavius and Mike Boone. I don't expect Latavius to be that involved this week, a short week, Thursday Night Football. Broncos at home against the Colts. We'll dive into that game a little bit deeper tomorrow. But if you're looking for fantasy football content, Set Bet Spike live today, Game Plus Network. A little bit later on today, you can catch it on Game Plus Network. I do believe it is 5 Eastern, 6 Eastern. My apologies, I should know that. But if you are watching Game Plus now, you have it on the guide. You can check that out for me. And also, it's live on our FTN Network YouTube page as well. I was just solo this morning. Eric Young is traveling. I recapped last night. I went deep into the leaders through 4 weeks at every position, some surprises, kind of get a little bit of buy low, sell high in there. Tomorrow I'll have some buy low and some sell high targets when we look at roster trends like we do every Wednesday, the most added, the most dropped, the most traded, and we'll touch on that. But if you are looking for a lot of football content, you can go back and watch Set Bet Spike. It is available for free. FTN Network YouTube page, FTN Bets, FTNFantasy.com. And of course, as I mentioned, on Game Plus. But of course, if you have questions on this show, we'll address them. We'll talk about it. Disha's in the house. Good morning. You got some stuff there. I will address those questions that are for people that are hanging out live on this show. But it will be a lot of hockey talk. The NHL season is starting on Friday. I got a ton of futures for you. Team win totals or point totals. I got goal futures, point futures. I'm going to give you my predictions for divisions, Stanley Cup winner, award winner, a little bit of a fantasy spin in there as well. Of course, the fantasy hockey package is live. Tyler, if you have that graph, you can check it out for the good people. If you don't mind, there we go. Promo code Meaney, save yourself 20%. The package is $9.99. So, if you use the promo code Meaney, it's $7.99. Rankings, sleepers, busts, breakouts, targets, best ball stuff, division previews, team breakdowns, predictions, waiver wire articles throughout the entire season. I'm going to give a waiver wire article every weekend, taking a look at 4-game streams, who to add, who to drop, who to buy, who to sell. Just kind of take care of the people that like to play some fantasy hockey. If you're just looking for the betting package, if you get this package and you use the promo code NHL30, you're going to save yourself 30% off FTNBets.com. So if you're looking for shot props, picks, all that good stuff, NHL 30 is the promo code for you. Save yourself 30% off. Of course, with our betting package, you know that you get all the picks across all sports from everybody. And all the sports are happening in October. It's all happening. Welcome back, NHL, NBA. We are now into week 5 of the NFL season. This is where we start to see separations from certain teams, pretenders, contenders, all that good stuff. You got college basketball starting up this month. You have college football full swing. October is a great month. Rivalries happening all the time in college football. MLS soccer playoffs, Champions League. It's all happening. Golf. There's 4 golf tournaments in the month of October. It's not fantastic. They're not great tournaments, but there's 4 golf tournaments. So it's all happening in the month of October. All the sports, all the picks, access to Discord channel, projections tools. It's all included in our FTN betting package. But if you have a couple fantasy hockey drafts, I've waited late. I even have a couple on Monday. I know the season gets underway on Friday in Prague. It's the Preds and the Sharks on Friday, and I believe on Saturday afternoon. And then on Tuesday, we got a mini 2-game slate. Wednesday's a lot of games. And Dangle Bet Selly will return on Tuesday. We'll dive into, I think we'll be able to dive into some of the Wednesday games as well. So a lot of hockey talk here on this show. And just one more time, if you are looking for the football talk, I'm pretty sure George could vouch for this. I went pretty deep into what has happened through the first 4 weeks, a little bit of a preview in terms of Colts and Broncos. I like Alec Pierce right away, 34 receiving yards. I think, we can jump on that one. That's one I already have in the bet tracker. It's been the past couple games been really good for him. I think he's got like 14 targets, 120 yards. And week 2, he didn't play due to concussion. In his first NFL game, he had 2 targets and they were both inside the red zone. I think he's going to be involved in this offense. Also like Cortland Sutton in there as well. But I have adjusted the waiver wire rankings. I went through some wideouts on that show. I can do the same here in this next block and then show you what I have for the running back rankings and streamers and things like that. But like I said, if you have any questions, by all means, but we will be talking a lot of hockey here. Thursday's episode will be a live fantasy hockey draft as well. But we got you covered in terms of fantasy football. Set Bet Spike will return on Friday. We'll recap Thursday night's football game. We'll dive into some picks and some props. I will have some picks and some props for week 5 on this show as well. So still going to take care of the football stuff. I see some Kevin Fiala things in here. It can get me really excited, Adam, when it comes to hockey. Deesh, I'll get to this in a second. Let's take a quick break. We come back. We got a board here, air yard leaders for week 4 of the NFL season. We have a familiar face that I think we just need to get used to seeing on this board. And we will just, I guess, quickly recap from last night and share those waiver wire running back rankings with you. Lots to get to here on Mean Streets. We'll be back in a couple. Hang tight.
At DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bet on nearly any sport imaginable. The NFL, the NBA, college football, college basketball, golf, the NHL, tennis, Major League Baseball, MMA, and more. Download the DK Sportsbook app on iOS and Android operating systems, as well as on your desktops or in mobile browsers. Get the best bonuses using promo code FTN. Remember, the only way to gamble responsibly is to win. Prize Picks is a creative new way to parlay picks based on expected fantasy point production and single stat projections. You pick 2 to 5 players and predict if they'll go over or under their projected fantasy point total or their single stat total. When parlaying the players, the larger your parlay, the better the payout. A 2-pick entry pays 3x. A 3-pick entry pays 5x. A 4-pick entry pays 10x. As a bonus offer, there's a flex play option. This provides an added level of security on your entry where you can decrease your multiplier received if you miss one of your entries, but hit on all the others. At FTN, we have Prize Picks coverage for every sport in both article and standalone pick format on our Prize Picks pick tracker. Use promo code FTN for a 100% deposit match on your first deposit of up to $100.
Welcome back in. Mean Streets here live on Game Plus Network. I'm doing all kinds of things here. No excuses. Like, I'm ready to go. I am ready to go. Okay. I got some air yard leaders here for week 4. And I just want to, for a friendly reminder that, we're working on getting our air yard leaders up earlier, but look for them tonight. Look for them certainly for Wednesday, but a little bit of a sneak peek at some of the data here powered by FTN data. And it's a free tool, and it's a pretty cool tool. I'm not gonna lie, I like it. It's not everything, but over at ftnfantasy.com, FTN Daily, FTN Bets, you can see it. Air yard leaders, you can select weeks. You can see, throughout the entire season. Air yard share, percentage of the team's, air yards. I think we've talked about it a lot on the show. And when everything is up to date, I want to share those tools with you and the leaders with you guys. ADOT, average depth of target. It's all great stuff here. For the week, Tyreek Hill, I think it just goes to show that he's quarterback proof. He really is, right? We know how great he's been with Patrick Mahomes. Fantastic. He had obviously had some moments with Tua. Looks like Tua's going to miss some time here. And Teddy Bridgewater came in. I am a little concerned for Jalen Waddle. I really am. I think he can still be a low-end wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 with Teddy B under center. But there certainly was a connection with Tua and Waddle, right? Former college teammates. And last year, what we saw from them in early parts of this season, it just looked like he was still going to be fine, even with Tyreek, right? A lot of speed in Miami. But for me, I saw Teddy, like, where's Tyreek? Where's Tyreek? Right? You're going to Tyreek a lot. So if you're a Tyreek Hill owner, you feel good anyways. He's I don't want to say he's very boomer bust, but so far he's been boomer bust to start the season. There was one game he had like no points, but he's sitting there as one of the highest, he's leading the NFL in receiving yards. And he's been fantastic here through the first 4 games in Miami. And he did say yesterday that the only reason he didn't sign, what did he say? What was the quote? I'm paraphrasing here with the Jets. The reason he didn't go to the Jets was like state taxes. And at least he's being honest. But Tyreek Hill up at the top here. DK Metcalf, right? Great game. I was a little concerned about him with the matchup in Detroit. But he's fantastic. George Pickens is the big takeaway here for me. Of course, Chris Olave entered this season leading the NFL in air yards. And I just goes to show again, I don't know if he's quarterback proof, but with no Jameis and Andy Dalton under center, still went Chris Olave's way. A lot of deep targets. He actually leads the NFL. Heading into the week, he did lead the NFL in ADOT among wide receivers with 15 targets. If you include Devontae Parker in there, he was just ahead of him, but he had a healthy 18.25 ADOT average up the target. Now, he's not going to always pull those in, especially when you're getting targeted deep down the field like that. You're not going to be able to pull them all in, but it just goes to show his upside, his ceiling, I think, is terrific inside this offense. Jarvis Landry is like a slot guy. He's dealing with some injuries. Maybe he would have showed us a little bit more if he was healthy, in London for week 4, but Michael Thomas is hurt again. And Chris Olave he's fresher. He's got, fresher legs. The way that they're using him, there's going to be some big time moments from Chris Olave. He's going to have, high, I think, wide receiver 2 upside. He's already a wide receiver 2 as it is right now, but he's going to have that ceiling I think to be a wide receiver 2. And whether you're rolling him out as a flex, he could be your 4th wideout. Heck, in my home league, he's my 5th wide receiver. I went wide receiver heavy, like Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill, Cortland Sutton, Rashad Bateman, and now I got Olave. And I'm looking to trade one of these guys so I can have Olave in my lineup as my flex or my wide receiver 3 every week. And I think that's how you should treat him moving forward. Mike Evans, no surprise here, but George Pickens as well is another guy that I wanted to touch on. Where it's going to be a lot of running back talk here on this show, or not really. Like, I suppose when it comes to football, it's going to be a lot of wide receiver or running back talk. But Pickens is the guy to pick up from a wide receiver standpoint. Now, I get it; he could be owned in your league. Not league shaming here on this show. Every league is different. Every league is not, a 16-team league and, high stakes and 40 rounds deep. It's everything. Every league is different. His ownership is 40% in Yahoo. And you can't tell me that he's not available in some leagues. He had 1 catch for 3 yards in week 1. He had 1 catch for 23 yards in week 2. He had 3 catches for 39 yards in week 3. Mitch Trubisky's been atrocious. He's been awful. That's why they made the quarterback switch. It took longer than I actually thought it would. Good on Mike Tomlin to finally make that move. And Pickens is better for this offense. Yeah, he had a couple picks. There are a couple certainly on him. One at the end of the game, not so much, but they moved the ball much better. And also credit to the Jets defense. I think it's very, very underrated. And this is a tough spot this week against Buffalo. The Bills are massive favorites here. I think 14-point favorites. Pickett is going to have some issues in Buffalo against that Bills defense. He's going to get sacked a bunch. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of turnovers here, but moving forward, I think there's a lot to like about George Pickens. I liked him right away anyways, coming out of college, Georgia. Nice wide receiver that I thought fell a little bit too far in drafts. I think the Steelers got a good one here. And, Brian Cook, shout out to him. He was on this show before the season started, and we talked a lot about, the physical presence that he brings and the lack thereof that the Steelers had when it came to a wide receiver like that, like Hines Ward. Deontay Johnson's a great wide receiver. He's not physical like George Pickens is. Chase Claypool, bad news for Claypool, right? A 0 from him. I don't know how involved. It seems like, and it's a very small sample, but Pat Freiermuth and Pickens, these are going to be big-time players in the Steelers offense. When I say big-time players, I say volume. I think volume is going to be there. I still think it's going to be a team that struggles to score a lot of points. I don't view them as a top 10, a top 15 offense. But those are 2 guys that I feel comfortable rolling out, Pat Freiermuth, and I think we're going to see Pickens get into that flex territory. So he's going to be a wide receiver that, is certainly on my radar to pick up. Other wide receivers that need to be owned, that may be owned in your leagues, but just double check. We talked about it yesterday. Michael Gallup didn't touch the field a whole lot, but he ran 2 fewer reps than Noah Brown, and it was like double-digit fewer snaps than Noah Brown. He got a touchdown. Soon we're going to see Dak. I don't think we're going to see Dak this week. It's possible. We're going to see Dak very soon. I think there's a game coming up for the boys against the Eagles. We could see him in that contest. But Gallup should be owned. Isaiah McKenzie should be owned. He's, a couple touchdowns here and there. His playing time will increase. Jamison Crowder broke his ankle, unfortunately. And Joshua Palmer, Rondell Moore, MVS, these are like stashes, I think. I'm not feeling great about starting any of those guys. Jacoby Myers potentially. But Palmer, as long as Keenan's not playing, it was a dud game from him, but he's been okay here. We're seeing a lot, from Gerald Everett with Keenan Allen out. So I think that will continue. Maybe he's the number 2 ahead of Palmer. But you also have Austin Eckler there catching some passes out of the backfield. So really Palmer, probably best case is like third option. As long as Keenan is out. And then there's some deep league stashes, Kadarius Toney, Jameson Williams. Those are guys that I would stash. I said to Tyler running the show for us, somebody in New York has to catch passes at some point, you would think, right? People getting excited about Richie James. I went up against Richie James in 3 or 4 leagues. He's I think he had negative points. It was whew, nice, Richie James. I don't know how you feel great about ever starting Richie James, even if Kadarius doesn't get on the field, right? It's going to be a run for his team. You got Saquon. He's going to touch the ball a ton. He's going to catch some passes. Daniel Jones is going to run. I'm not sure about Daniel Jones' availability this week, but, when he's under center, he's going to run himself. There's some reports that Odell Beckham Jr. visited Giants facility yesterday. I think it was more so just saying what up to his former boys, but hey, why not? If you're the Giants, are you kidding me? That'd be pretty cool to see OBJ back with the Giants. I have him in a couple dynasty leagues. I'd like to see him on a team soon, eventually. Come on, I need you. I need you, bud. And, he's coming off a significant injury, but he showed last year in the right setting, the right situation, he could be good. I mean, Allen Robinson's not good as the number 2 in LA, but OBJ was good as the number 2 in LA last year. What about Allen Robinson? I get sidetracked for a second, but Kadarius Toney, if he can stay on the field, that's been the big issue here in a year and a quarter. He hasn't been able to stay on the field, but Kenny Golladay is offering nothing. Sterling Shepard is gone. Kadarius Toney may pop up here. I'm sure that he's going to pop up at some point this season where he's going to be. I don't know. Maybe we're looking at him as a flex in full point PPR leagues. I think the Giants are going to have to throw the football eventually. For last night, a couple takeaways. Offensive line is atrocious in LA. I don't know how it gets any better. And if it's not going to get any better, I'm not going to be able to start Akers. I'm not going to be able to start Henderson. And I'm not starting Allen Robinson anymore. That's it. I could take the big L on Robinson. I was a believer. I thought, heading to what would be his best situation ever, his best quarterback he's ever played with in Stafford, the best offensive play caller in Sean McVay that he's ever played with as well. But there's a couple things here. Stafford doesn't look great. It's not all on him. The offensive line is very, very bad. It's only been 4 weeks. So is it too small of a sample just to say Allen Robinson is going to be bad all year? I think it's too small of a sample, but he's only had 1 good game. And luckily in that second game, he caught a touchdown. I'm thinking about targets he's had. It's been just kind of toss-ups at the end of games, deep down the field. I thought maybe there could have been a PI on that one play in the red zone last night. A couple fades, one he converted for a touchdown, but there's no time for Stafford in the pocket. He's taken a lot of shots and he's force feeding it to Cooper Kupp. Great for all of us Cooper Kupp owners that that's the Rams bet every time they play. It's the chalkiest bet of all time. He didn't score a touchdown last night, but it's catches 8.5 plus money. Cruise past that. Cruise past his high 93, 94 receiving yard prop. It's just Cooper Kupp and it's Tyler Higbee. Those are the only 2 Rams that would start moving forward. That's including Matthew Stafford. In a single quarterback league, I'm not rolling him out. He's finished as quarterback 28 and above in 3 of his 4 starts. That's it. I'm not rolling him out. This offensive line is bad. Credit to the Niners defense. I think I saw it earlier here. Deesh, 49ers D for real. Absolutely. It's great. It's fantastic. Really good defense. I lost 3 leagues on that pick 6. It just burnt me. But a great defense. They got some pressure. We give them some credit. But in the 4 games that I've watched from the Rams, the offensive line does not look good. Stafford's not being able to have time in the pocket, build a rapport with Allen Robinson. I don't think it's all on Allen Robinson. I don't want to say that he's dust. I'm not ready to say that. I see some people talking about that on social. For one, that's rude. It's very mean, guys. And 2, he's not even getting any looks. So how can we say that he's no good? He's not getting any targets. I've seen some times where he's had some separation. I also see some defenses like the Bills and the Niners kind of doubling him and saying, you know what, Cooper Kupp, we'll just kind of not like they're saying we'll let Cooper Kupp, eat. He's going to eat anyways, but they're taking away that other option. But Higbee's a guy, and obviously you're starting Kupp. I just think you have to proceed with caution. I thought that it would be Akers. We had a 2-game sample back-to-back where Akers had more carries, more snaps, And yesterday, it was a rotation of two, but neither could get going with the way that offensive line was looking. On the other side of things, Debo is always a stud. You roll him out. Ayuk, man, there's just too much inconsistency with Ayuk. I think he's a flex at best. I think he's got upside. We all wanted the breakout, right? I think we may have seen it with Trey Lance in our center. We're not really seeing it. It's Debo, and that's it. Of course, Jeff Wilson, you roll out. Shanahan has showed us that, whoever's the healthy back, whether it's Mostert, whether it's Elijah Mitchell or Wilson here, he's going to roll them out, and they're going to get 15 plus carries. And Wilson plays with a lot of speed. Didn't get any catches last night. I was a little surprised. I thought he'd get one or two grabs, but also thought the LA offense would move a little bit better than it did last night. Kittle's another guy. You roll him out, a little bit better production than Pitts. It's name value. The tight end position is very, very weak. So I know, like, all those guys that are up near the top have probably been scooped up already. Gerald Everett, Ty Conklin. That's really it, right? Will Dissly, are you rolling out Will Dissly over Kittle? No, you're not. But Kittle's blocking a lot, and if Trent Williams is going to miss some time, Kittle's going to be, continuing to block a lot. He's had some high ceiling games. I think he's a terrific tight end, but he's another guy that I know the tight end position is just so bad. It's just so bad. It's like Kelsey and Andrews, and then what? Hawkinson had a great game. Hawkinson's got upside, and Freiermuth and Ertz is good, and Goddard, but man, it's bad. I don't know how I feel about Kittle. Like, he's not getting enough work for me, and it is a run for seam after all. It's all Debo. That's it. That's all my takeaways. Shout out to Jimmy G, 7-0 in the regular season against the Rams. Perfect. Nobody likes Jimmy G. Everyone just kind of craps all over him. All he does is win football games, at least regular season games. He lost in the Super Bowl and he lost in the conference championship game to the Rams last year, but he does win football games, and he's got new life. And so good for him. Smile on his face yesterday. He's talking up Debo, and it was great to see if you're a Niners fan. Big W for them last night. Everybody inside the division down 2-2. Still the only division that has 3 teams with 3 wins. The NFC East of all teams. Like, who would have thought that, right? The Eagles and the boys, even when Dak went down, right? And then the Giants sitting there with 3 wins as well, and Washington struggling. Okay, let's do this. Actually, let's break. Let's keep the balance of this show. We'll break. I got the running back rankings, and then we're really going to turn the page and do some hockey talk here in the show. But a lot of football stuff over at FTN Network for you guys to check out, as I mentioned earlier. We'll be back in a couple. I got 10 running back rankings for your waiver wire action tonight or tomorrow. Stay tuned.
I can't say enough about what we've got going on over at FTNBets.com.
At FTN Bets, your bankroll can be profitable. With the FTN Bet Tracker, you can tell your favorite experts across all sports, including the NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball.
Welcome back to Mean Streets here on Game Plus Network. I'm your host, Chris Meaney.
And with our premium content, you can take your bets to the next level. Only $49.99 a month. Use the tools the pros use at FTN. Our betting models run over 100,000 simulations of every game, with sides and totals in the NFL, the NBA, and more. Use the home run predictor to see who'll hit a bomb deep. Our NFL player projections will make you a DFS king. And the FTN Prop Shop always finds the best odds for your player props. All tools, projections, and models are powered by FTN Data.
Welcome back in. Let's get to this question from Deesh here. He says, 2 quarterback league, half-point PPR. He said he got offered CMC and CD for JJ Swift and Jamal Williams. Okay, I always have to kind of write this down. So I'm glad this is great, guys, in terms of questions and some context here. So just kind of bear with me. It's sometimes it's a lot to kind of take in. Lamar's the quarterback. Oh, you got Lamar and my goodness, Jalen and Lamar. You must be off to a fantastic start here. You got the two really safe quarterbacks, solid floors. So you got Robinson. All right, so you got Robinson and Williams right now is what you're rolling out at the running back position. You got JJ, Cooks, Godwin, so some pretty decent wide receivers there, and you got Pitts as your tight end. So and then you got Hall, Bateman. So you got two Jets here, Pollard, Dubs, and then you got Swift and Robinson. So you are getting offered CMC and CD for JJ Swift. So you're getting rid of the Detroit backfield. And then you're getting rid of arguably one of the best wide receivers in football. I don't think I'd make this move. I don't like it too much. I mean, you're getting CMC, which is great. CD would be your wide receiver one. It would be your one all of a sudden. You'd lose JJ, so you'd be rolling out, CD, Cooks, and Godwin, and you got Bateman there, Elijah. I like what you got here. I don't think I'm doing it. This Detroit backfield is, Jamal could be a league winner here. If Swift goes away, if Swift doesn't come back for a few weeks, you got Jamal. Yeah, it is tough to trade JJ. That's my one thing. It's really tough to trade JJ. You got just a really, really strong piece there. And even CMC is really nice. But you got JJ. I think you'd be a little thin at the wide receiver position, honestly. I do believe that. I would hang tight. And I don't mind rolling out that Detroit backfield. I know when these guys get back, like when Swift comes back, then I see what your thinking is. You got two Jets backs, you got two Detroit backs. What are you going to do with these guys? I think that you can roll out Swift, and heck, you might be able to roll out two Detroit backs as opposed to the two Jets backs. You might be able to roll out the two. You go like, when you get into bye weeks or things like that, you can go, maybe Breece Hall and then like the both backs, one's a flex. You could, it's not ideal, but you got Swift. So my thinking would be for people who have Jamal, maybe don't need him. I mean, I would continue to roll him out, right? This offensive line is great. They're scoring a lot of points. He's good anyways. I would look to trade him to the Swift owner and get, more balance for the squad. But I think I would just hang tight there. It's not an awful move, but the best player in that deal is JJ, and then CD would be your number one. I think there was something else. It was a hockey question. We can get to this if you want. Adam's in the house. He's hanging on. We'll watch back since I'm at work. Okay. We'll still get to it. But question is, what are your thoughts on Kevin Fiala? Looks like he will play top line of power play, point total at 30.5. That can't be right. The points total. I think that's his goal total. And I think I may have it a little bit later on in the show. His point total is definitely not 30. If it is, you got to hammer the over on that. I do believe that's his goal total. I'm a big Kevin Fiala fan. He is all over the fantasy hockey draft kit. Of course, you can get over at ftmfantasy.com. I love the guy. I've always loved the guy. I liked him in his early Nashville days, and I liked him in Minnesota, and I like him here in LA. I am a big fan of the Kings this year, a huge fan. They were one of the better teams at 5-5 last year, which is a big issue for me. It's maybe not issue is not the right word. It's a big statistic that I like to look for in teams. Can they play 5-5? That's it. Like all year long, that's very important. And come playoff time, it's very important too. Like refs put the whistles away. You almost saw the Kings beat the Oilers. In fact, they probably should have beat the Oilers in the first round last year. The Oilers took care of the Flames, and then the Oilers got bounced by Colorado. But the Kings are a really good 5-5 hockey team, and they played a lot of their hockey last year without Drew Doughty. He's healthy. He's back. He still has a lot to offer as a defenseman. And Anze Kopitar is one of the most underrated centers in the league. You got Adrian Kempe on the other side, who broke out last year. And I like again. And that top line, this could be one of the best lines that Kopitar has ever played. And I played for. I know he's played with Gaborik, and Dustin Brown was really good early parts of his career. But you got two snipers on each side. Kevin Fiala is very shifty. He's also a really good playmaker as well. I would definitely take the over on 30 points if you could find that. I don't think you will, but goals, I would take it. And I think he's flirting with like 70 points. I think the entire line is flirting with 70 points. I think it's going to be one of the better lines in hockey. And I think they keep that second line together in LA. So I do believe you will see Fiala on that first line a majority of the season. They could do some things. Of course, things are going to change throughout the season. Injuries happen and things like that. But you're going to have that second line was so good for LA last year. Trevor Moore, Philip Deneau, and Victor Arvidsson. They were really good 5-5 as well. In fact, they went through like a 4-5 stretch week where they were like the first or second best line in hockey at 5-5. They all three of those guys love to shoot the puck. And so that line sticks together, and then you get Fiala. And also for Fiala, there was times when he was on that second power play in Minnesota. He wasn't always on that first power play in Minnesota. I think he's going to be on that first PP in LA. I think you're going to see that top line together. You know, you got Doughty. They may roll a fourth forward out there, maybe Arvidsson. So I think Fiala will be on that first unit. So he might get a boost in ice time this year on 5-5 and on the PP. Love him. Love Fiala. Here's the list of running back rankings. So it's a little bit different from yesterday. I had to make some adjustments with Cordell Patterson getting placed on IR. I get that sports mixed up. ILRR. He's going to miss at least 4 weeks. We know that. I kept Raheem Mostert up at the top. I think he is the better long-term play. I really do. Now, it could change a little bit. The reason I feel maybe a little bit better about him is because of the quarterback change. Unfortunately for Tua and Teddy B, could see some more rushing attempts. You know, Chase Edmonds, a lot of people are really in on Chase Edmonds. I was on the fence just because I've never seen him really handle full workload. He's been a change of pace guy in his 2 years in zone. He caught I think he was close to 90 catches in those 2 years. And you can count on one hand how many times he had rushing attempts inside the 5 and inside the 10. He's just not that type of back. This year, a little bit more of that in his game. He's had a couple touchdowns. He's good in a full point PPR league, but honestly, I would be starting Raheem Mostert over Chase Edmonds in a half point setting. I really would. He's going to get more carries. I think he's going to get, goal line work. Mike McDaniel wasn't lying. When they brought him over, they said they were going to use him the exact same way they used him in San Fran. And so far that's been the case. He has been the lead. He was nicked up to start the season, and, he's had some of that on his NFL resume, some issues, injuries and things like that. But right now he's healthy, and I do believe he's the lead. And I'm just thinking long-term because, eventually we probably will see Cordell Patterson come back or Damian Williams come back, and maybe it's crowded in Atlanta. So Mostert, he's the lead. He's the guy there. So he'd be the number one for me. And then it's Tyler Algier. And I really like Tyler Algier. If you've been following me on this show, he was a stash. He was a guy that I liked outside the 10th round. It was Dameon Pierce. It was Tyler Algier. It was James Robinson. These were guys that we talked a lot about on this show. There was value with these guys. I thought that Algier and Dameon Pierce were in the best possible landing spots for rookie running backs. I really, truly believed that. Even Kenneth Walker in Seattle, Penny's still there. Breece Hall more than Michael Carter. Carter's still there, right? Crowded. My thinking was that Cordero is just better suited as like a gadget guy. He's going to get carries. He's going to play in the slot, going to play out wide. Wide receiver converted running back here. Great last year and great to start the season. Very efficient. I don't know how he could keep that up, honestly. Like he was a lot of nice long runs from him. But Algier is more suited for a back to have like 12 to 15 carries out of the backfield. So I thought over time he could overtake this backfield, and maybe it's just happening quicker now, unfortunately, because Cordero is hurt. So we've had 3 games from Tyler Algier. 2 of them he's had double-digit carries. He was catching balls out of the backfield last week, even when Cordero was playing 2 weeks ago. I forget the team that we were playing against. It doesn't matter. He was getting some goal line work in that game. So this could be a short-term thing. It could be crowded when Cordero comes back, but as I just kind of said, I believed in the upside of Algier. I see some people talking about Damian Williams, and I just say, stop it. Damian Williams has 1 season with over 50 carries. 1 season with over 50 carries. He has 1 game with double-digit carries since 2019. Out of his 98 regular season games, he has 10 games with double-digit carries. His outlier season with Kansas City and the offense and Andy Reid and what he did in the Super Bowl was fantastic. And he's more of a pass-catching running back. He's not a back that's going to, get 10 to 15 carries between the tackles. He's just not that guy. He just really isn't. And I know that the Atlanta Falcons were going to start the season with him being the guy, but unfortunately he just can't stay healthy. And maybe that's part of it. He's better suited as like a third down change of pace back. The upside is with Tyler Algier. You're in a deep league, 16, 18 team leagues, PPR setting. You want to stash Damian Williams, by all means, go for it, but shoot for upside, folks. It's Algier here. Brian Robinson is going to return very soon, and we've seen the downwards trend here from Antonio Gibson. They drafted Robinson. They brought back J.D. McKissick, keeping a third down role. When the Washington's down, you're seeing McKissick catch some passes. I think we were teased with Antonio Gibson in week 1 with all the usage he had through the air. It's been J.D. McKissic over the past couple of weeks, and Robinson's going to, I don't know if he's going to overtake the backfield, but it's going to be very crowded, but I expect him to have some first and second down touches and maybe some goal line stuff there. Rashad White is a fantastic stash. Heading in, again, Algier, White, these were guys that, you stash, it's next man up. We started to see, we saw it last week. White was getting some catches out of the backfield. He had a red zone rushing attempt, a couple actually, one that he converted for a touchdown. If anything happens to Leonard Fournette, White is a guy that is going to be a league winner. He is definitely worth your time to stash because he could fall into 20 plus touches, catching balls to the backfield, aggressive offense. Brady drops back more than a lot of quarterbacks. Led the NFL in passing attempts, passing yards, and touchdowns last year. And, the offense is going to get better. There were some signs of greatness in the offense last week, and they're playing from behind. I think that's why we saw a lot of targets from White and Fournette, but just have him as a stash. Same thing with Walker. Latavius, I'm not a big Boone guy. Should I drop Myers for Boone? Pick up Algier for Myers? I would pick up Algier for Myers, especially if you need a running back here, daily handle, right? I know it's different here. I'm assuming you're dropping Jacoby. If you need a running back, I would go that way, and I would do Algier. I'm just not a big Boone guy. And I don't think the Broncos are either. I mean, they brought in Latavius Murray last night, and Latavius Murray looked okay against the Saints. I think he's got a higher ceiling than Mike Boone. And ultimately, I believe Melvin Gordon is the guy. If he continues to fumble, then we'll see a crowded backfield. But I think Gordon is the guy. He knows the offense. He's experienced, and, he's going to catch some passes out of the backfield. I don't think we'll see too much Latavius this week. But, yeah, man, if we see Gordon fumble again on Thursday, we could see some stuff from Boone this week. But I have Latavius ranked higher. I think he's got the higher ceiling. Cable Huntley is another guy. Like, if you miss out on Algier, or, you have Algier and he's already owned in your league, then, you can go Huntley for $1 or $2, or you got the 8th or 9th claim. You can have some shares of him. He has had some work inside the red zone, right? It wasn't all Algier last week. So it could be a little bit of Huntley, but I believe that Algier's got the higher ceiling there. And then just like some pass catching running backs, J.D. McKissic mentioned earlier, and then Kenneth Gainwell. I believe that if anything happened to Miles Sanders, Boston Scott would be the guy, even though he missed last week with a rib injury. But Kenneth Gainwell is just, you never know, right? Could be next man up. A good offense, good offensive line. Eagles are scoring some points. So Gainwell should be on your roster. And just, that's it. Like, deeper guys I have written down here, in my article, ftmfantasy.com, like, Benjamin, Jerick McKinnon, James Cook, like that's kind of it. I'm not really in on Deion Jackson. It looks like, it looks like we could see Jonathan Taylor return sooner rather than later. So hopefully it helped you guys with the running back stuff. We're officially going to turn the page from the football. If you have any questions, you can leave them there. Watching the replay, you can leave them in the comment section. I'll get to them before your waivers run, but it's going to be a lot of hockey talk here next, and I'm excited for it. We'll be back in a couple. Welcome back in. I have some futures here I wanted to share with you guys. A lot of this will be in the FTM bet tracker. We keep track of everything, futures, picks, props throughout the entire season. Promo code Meaney, 20% off for that NHL betting package. And of course, if you get the season-long fantasy hockey package over at ftmfantasy.com and use the promo code NHL30, you'll get 30% off the betting package. You get all picks across all sports over at FTN from everybody, Discord, tools. It's all there for you. I know I sound like a broken record, but kind of have to say it. All right, goal futures. I'm excited. Got some goal futures and some point futures here. I've taken it from DraftKings and CoolBet. So for those that are north of the border, I think those are the only people that can play CoolBet. Man, they got some soft lines over there. I love CoolBet. No shots fired, but we can take advantage for sure. And last year we went 12 for 14 on my goal total. So hopefully we can back it up. Knock on wood. You know, we got it. We can't always pat ourselves on the back. We got to be able to back it up. And this is where I'm at here. So you see Kevin Fiala on the board, Adam Rankamp. You're watching a replay. I was already on this one. I like it quite a bit. I already gave my reasons in the last block on Kevin Fiala. Alex DeBrincat is, he's a two-time 40-goal scorer. That's really it. It's, leaving Patrick Kane is one thing. And, of course, you don't want to leave Patrick Kane because he's just so darn good at the game of hockey. But we've seen Alex DeBrincat score 41 goals last year, 32 in 52 games, and 20 in a shortened season, and 41 in his second season in the NHL. He played, a career high 20-51 last year. He's going to play that again this season with the Sens. The Sens are loaded up front offensively. Whether it's Josh Norris, they probably keep, Tkachuk and Josh Norris together, Drake Batherson on that top line. He's going to play with Claude Giroux. Tim Stützle, he's going to play on that top power play. He's just a sniper. So I think he scores 40 again. Nazem Kadri, this is really low for Kadri. I was actually surprised. Kadri is a former two-time 30-goal scorer. And last year he had a career season. Of course, he was on a loaded Avs team. He had 87 points in 71 games. But as I mentioned, in 2016 and 2017, he had back-to-back seasons with 32 goals. He had 12 power play goals in each of those two seasons. He had 8 power play goals last year. He's actually going to be the trigger man, I think, in Calgary on that first power play. He's going to be on it. Jonathan Huberdeau is a playmaker. We could see those two play some 5-5 together. It's not a lock that it's going to be Lindholm and Huberdeau all year long. Toffoli is going to be a sniper on that power play. And Andrew Mangiapane or Lindholm will get some looks as well. But this is too low for Nazem Kadri. And yeah, he had not even a career high shooting percentage, like 11% last year and 28 goals in 71 games. So it's not like he played with McKinnon at 5-5. He didn't. Those guys are both centers. He played on that power play and he only had 8 power play goals. So he still had 20 goals, even strengths, which is a really strong number. And I think the Flames may be better this year. Honestly, I'll get into that in a little bit. Mitch Marner, too low here for Mitch Marner at 28.5. Mitch Marner, what I liked from him last year was more offense. He was more willing to shoot the puck. Which is something we didn't really see a whole lot early in his career. And of course, when you play with a guy like Austin Matthews, you're dishing it off probably more times than not. But 35 goals last season from him, 15.6 shooting percentage is a career high, but it's not an outrageous number. I think he can top 30. Jack Eichel, he's got 30 written all over him as long as he can stay healthy. Chris Kreider, I just think we'll see a down year from Chris Kreider. Ultimately, like he had a fantastic season, but I got him written as a bust in fantasy hockey draft kit. I still think he's going to be a good player. Like I can see him getting to 30 goals, but 40.5 is just way too high. And I think this is a number over at DraftKings. I think CoolBet has him for 37.5, 52 goals last season. He never had a campaign with over 28. He had 77 points. He never had a campaign with over 53 points. He had a career high 20.2 shooting percentage. His career average is 14.9. 26 of his goals came on the power play. That's unsustainable. Like, I get it. It's a good power play. He's got some nice players around there, but I want to see a guy that's getting more 5-5 goals than power play goals. And it's basically spot on. So if the power play takes a bit of a hit, he struggles. You're not going to see him get to 40. I just think it's too high of a number. Gabriel Landeskog as well. Landeskog is a guy that I do believe he's only hit this number once. I thought I had Landeskog in my notes. My apologies. I'll get to a quick time here in a second. He's already on IR and he's going to miss a bit of the season. He missed time last year with a knee injury. He's only played a full season, it's been some time, 2017, 78 games, 2018, 73. There's been a couple shortened seasons the past couple of years. So maybe that's a little bit unfair of a comment, but a career high 20% shooting rate last year, 12.2 for his career, 30 goals last year. He's only topped this number once in his career and he entered the league in 2011. So this is just way too high for him, for Landeskog. So under 33.5. Clayton Keller, he's hit this once. Arizona's not going to score a lot of goals. I think he's nicked up as well to start the season. Then Mark Stone. He's a pass first guy. 24.5 is just too high for him. Last year dealt with some back injuries. I don't trust him to stay healthy this season. And this is a guy as well. When you see this number at 24.5, he's cleared this twice. And you have to go back to his Ottawa days. It's 9 goals in 37 games last year, 21 and 55, 21 and 65, going back to, 2020 and 2019, those on pace to surpass that. But I have some concerns about his back, and I do believe he's a pass first guy, as I mentioned. So I have no problem taking Eichel. And then Caulfield we touched on yesterday. Do you have the Caulfield one quickly? I'm going to get out of here and get to the next couple segments. This is it. For Caulfield at 30, and last year he had 23 goals. He had 22 goals in 37 games with Martin St. Louis. Do I think he's a 40-goal scorer? No, but I think he can get to 30. He just loves to shoot the puck. And the ice time difference, right? 1641 overall as for his first full season in the NHL, 14 per game with Dom Ducharme, 18 per game in 37 games with Martin St. Louis. First line, first power play. He's going to have lots of games where he has 5+ shots. He's just a sniper. That's it, man. This guy is an absolute just baller. You go back to his USA days, his under 18. I mean, he just has a knack for his scoring. And so I have no problem taking the over on the 30. We'll take a quick break. I got some more. I'll dive into some point totals, and we got some awards and predictions to get to as well. We'll be back in a couple. All right, let's get to those point totals here again from DraftKings and Cool Bet. I couldn't really find any edges when it come to unders. Came to unders. Can you speak? I can speak. Let's check it out. Tyler, you got it? Point totals for players. Let's do it. Let's just get into it. I just stop rambling here. I couldn't really find any edges for unders like I did for goals. I love it. Kel McCarr, 78.5. The guy's a point per game player, 86 points in 77 games last year, 180 points in 178 games in his career. We saw what he did in the playoffs. As long as he plays a full season, 82 games, I think he gets 80 points here. Jack Eichel is in on the goals. It really is about health. We haven't seen him, be healthy, but he's had a 78-point season with Buffalo and an 82-point season with Buffalo. That's another guy, right? 380 points in 409 games. As long as he can stay healthy and he can play 71 games, 72 games, I think he's a point per game guy. I don't think we'll see much difference, honestly, in Jonathan Huberdeau and Alexander Barkov. Or Barkov, I know he's going to miss Huberdeau, especially on the power play, but Barkov has a 96-point season. He's got a 78-point season. He had 88 points last season in 67 games. So he's a guy that's always going to be among the leaders in ice time. He missed Huberdeau on the power play, but they didn't play a lot of 5-on-5 together. So I do believe that I think he's going to be just fine. I talked about Mitch Marner earlier. I like the goals, 97 points last season. He got a 94-point season on his resume as well. And him and Matthews, maybe the best 1-2 punch in the NHL, right? I mean, Leon Draisaitl and McDavid, sure, they don't play a lot of 5-on-5 together. Marner and Matthews will. Matthews is probably going to score another 60 this year. Marner's going to be in on a lot of those. Kopitar, I just feel like is unrated, as I mentioned in the last block. For him to get 68 points, he had 67 last year. He's going to have a better line mate in Fiala. He's got a 90-point season on his resume. He's just a really, really underrated player, plays in all situations. JT Miller, Vegas is thinking he's going to have a drop-off in production. Sure, he's going to have a drop-off. He had 99 points last year in 80 games, but 81.5 is a little low, right? This is a guy that I think as long as he plays, 80 games, he's right there at this number. DeBrincat touched on him in the last block as well. Kyle Connors, another guy coming off a career high, 47 goals and 93 points. We don't need him to get 93 points, but I believe he's a well over a point per game player. Even in the shortened season, he had 50 points in 56 games. And in 2019, he had 73 points in 71 games. This guy has had 3 30-goal seasons in the last 4 years, and he would have had 30 goals if 2020 wasn't awful for most people in life. And then you see Malkin there. Evgeny Malkin is just a guy that just doesn't really stay healthy. You know how many times Malkin has had over, 70 points over the last few years? Just 1, 2, actually a little bit better than I thought. 1, 2. He's been stuck on 74 a lot. 74, 72, 98, 72, 58, 70, 72, 33. Last year, 42 and 28. I just don't trust the guy. I don't want to sit here and give unders and say, oh, this guy's going to get hurt. And who am I to say that? I hope Malcolm plays all year. I hope he doesn't suffer an injury. I hope he's great. He's a great real-life player. He's fantastic when he plays. But ultimately, the guy does have some issues staying healthy. So that's my one thing with Malcolm. That's a 1 under that I would take. All right. One more break, and we'll be back. I still have some more NHL stuff for you. Keep her locked. Welcome back in. I have some point totals here for you. A little bit the same as like NFL win totals, but instead of wins, we got points here in the NHL. So Tyler, if you want to check these up for us. The Calgary Flames at 103.5. Cruise past this last year. I mentioned I think that they have a better team. I think they're deeper down the middle, honestly. They lost Goudreau. I think Huberdeau may be better than Goudreau. He's just the same par as as him. I think they'll miss Matthew Tkachuk, but deeper down the middle, stronger on the blue line with the addition of Mackenzie Weegar, and really strong in goal. Love the Kings squad. I've already talked a lot about them on this show. Kings, Ducks surpassed this last year, and I think they have a better top six. Klingberg, right? Gibson needs to stay healthy for them. The Blue Jackets are better up front, with the addition of Johnny Hockey. And I think Elvis Merzlikins is an underrated goalie. I think the Panthers are going to regress just a little bit. I think they will score a lot of goals. My goodness, they're going to score a lot of goals, but the defense is going to be weak. It really is. Like Mackenzie Weegar logged a lot of ice time for them last year, and I think that's going to be their biggest issue. So, and the Atlantic has improved, right? The Red Wings are better, the Sens are better, even the Habs are better this year, and the Sabres, got some nice young pieces. So it's a tougher division this season. The Kraken, this is just too high. I see, a lot of analytical people in their models still have the Kraken. Last year, they had the Kraken as a 90-point team and making the playoffs. And what they have, like 50 points. Like, this is just still not a good team with a lot of holes. I think they'll be better than last year, but like from 60 points to 80 points is a significant upgrade. This is just way too high. The Sharks, the Habs, the Coyotes, and the Blackhawks, all these teams are going to be awful, especially those bottom two, Arizona and Chicago. These are teams that I expect to live in the 50-point range. And the Sharks, just getting a little bit too much respect. They're going to be real bad on the blue line. And then let's roll through some of the other predictions that I have here, Tyler, if you don't mind quickly. So these are the division winners. I'll be honest, I had a real tough time with the Metro. I was thinking the Hurricanes. I was thinking the Penguins. I just went with the Rangers because they have the best goalie, and that's really it for me. I think we'll see the Kids take another step forward. I like their top six, even with regression from Kreider. I like what they have going on goal. I like the Leafs, the Flames, and the Avs. I like Calgary to win the West, the Rangers to win the East, and I have the Flames to win the Stanley Cup. I know I'm down this road again with the Flames, but as I mentioned, I think they're just a deeper team down the middle of the ice with Kadri and Lindholm, and Backlund was their second-line center last year. Now he's their third-line center. He's a great defensive center. Kadri's going to add a lot to them down the middle, and I really like their defense. I like their defense a lot. I know the artist is in the house. I like the Hurricanes. Honestly, if it wasn't for Max Pacioretty, I would have, being out for another 5 months, I would maybe have them, but I definitely think that they're a playoff team and they'll make some noise. It's just the goal scoring. I need like Martin Necas to kind of step up. We got to get out. You want to show a quick time? You got a quick time awards? Nah, we'll get out of here. It's all good. We'll do it. We'll visit it tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Any questions, hit me up in the YouTube section and we'll get to those NHL awards tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Cheers.